speaking of the women, Rob, and women's basketball, and one of the coaches in this game, Kim Mulkey with LSU, there was an article in the LA Times that was talking about, this was in their last game against UCLA, and it was written before that game. But the title of it says UCLA LSU is America's sweethearts versus its basketball villains. And the sweethearts in this case are UCLA. The basketball villains he's referring to are the LSU Tigers. It's written by Ben Bolch. Rob, do you know him?
I do. Him? Yeah, I do not know him from
I know
from the LA Times.
Yeah. And Kim Mulkey, the original story came out, and the LSU coach Kim Mulkey complained about it and called it sexist. She went on a rant that we'll hear in a moment. But her real problem with it, Rob, and the reason she called it sexist was because they called the LSU players dirty debutantes. Bolch said is like the dirty debutantes against, he said, he called them villains and dirty debutantes. He referred to the UCLA players as milk and cookies, but referred to the LA Times, or I'm sorry, the LSU players as dirty debutantes. Now, when I first heard, and you heard, some of you may have been listening, you've heard little excerpts from Doug Gottlieb talking about it. And Doug said he just thought dirty debutantes was kind of a clever turn of phrase. And I didn't think, I thought it was, okay, dirty debutantes. All right, these a little shot, but okay, it's like villains. But then when you go, and Kim Mulkey even said, Rob, when you Google it, she said, Google it and see what comes up. And I Googled just dirty debutantes and pornography, like sites, porn sites and stuff.
Oh, is that right?
Links to porn sites come up. So that is why, because I was like, what she said is sexist. What exactly is she talking about? But then when you see that, you'll kind of know. Here's Mulkey, and then you let us know what you think, Rob.
I'm not going to let you attack young people. And there were some things in this commentary, guys, that you should be offended by as women. It was so sexist, and they don't even know it. It was good versus evil in that game today. Evil? Called us dirty debutantes? Take your phone out right now and Google dirty debutantes and tell me what it says. Dirty debutantes? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Again, when I first heard her, I was like, sexist. What does he mean? What does she mean? But then when you Google it, which I'm sure you have by now, Rob, you see what she's talking about.
Thanks, Chris Broussard.
So what are your thoughts?
I was saving it for later tonight, but
Oh, man. But I get it now. Like, I get what she's saying. I get, you can't, and I don't know if Bolch meant it that way. Like I said, I didn't even think of it that way. I thought, okay, he's calling them villains. Okay, maybe that's going a little too far. But Rob, and I want to ask you this as a columnist. So first I want to hear your thoughts on just that
I was
term.
just going to say, yeah.
But as a columnist, this a lot of times, and the LA Times, obviously, UCLA, right, is right there in town. A lot of times a local columnist will kind of take that, approach, like he'll defend the whole team. Us against them, and write some little insults about the other team and all that.
We've seen that, Chris.
Oh yeah, you see with the men,
all the time. Like I could always remember, Woody Page writing columns, ripping Detroit and Hockeytown for the Avalanche against. You know what I mean? Like making a thing about the Wings and the Avalanche.
Right.
And downing Detroit and all the people and all the stuff that goes on. You know what I mean? Right.
And it's kind of just understood that, we're going after each other like that. And my initial thought, Rob, was, well, this is one of the things that comes along with the popularizing of the women's game. Like men's players, and I get college is a little different because they're not professional.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, college.
That's the only thing, Chris, I'm going to say. As a guy who wrote a column, for a long time, I do look at colleges a little different. I try not to be as, because they're not professional. So I was always conscious of that. I'm not saying that I didn't say that I didn't criticize them. You know what I mean? Like, me and Tom Izzo has a history. That's college basketball, right?
But he's a coach, too.
Right. But I'm just saying, talking about the kids and the program and not winning the big games and all that, but not like taking hey,
you're not going to rip a college, he choked.
Yeah, I'm not, no.
Yeah, I agree.
That I don't remember ever writing a college kid in that vein where I could do it for a pro. So that's a little different. But this is tough because I understand and why she feels that way. And it is, Chris, I think it does come with the brighter light. The brighter light. And now even enough for the LA Times to write columns, you know what I mean? And even in this vein.
Right.
Even in this
vein. Did reword it. They edited it.
Yeah.
Took out Dirty Debutantes. I mean,
but they didn't rewrite the column. They just thought
they just changed some of the wording, took that out. That takes it to another level, obviously.
Right.
You don't want any women, you shouldn't be comparing to like that. But it's particularly college kids or high school girls or something like that. But I don't know that again, did he mean it that way, Rob? I don't know. Because I didn't, that was not, pornography was not what came to my mind.
I don't think that again, that's trying to turn a phrase, play on words. You know what I mean? Debutantes. We know that. Those are women at a ball, right? Or like high. Yeah. So I do get that. And I doubt that he meant it in a pornography or pornographic way.
Yeah. Now, one of the, and we talked about it earlier, the player for LSU who started out the game guarding Caitlin Clark, she talked about it, and she's the only white player that plays for LSU. There might be another one on the team, but she's the only one I see out there actually getting some time. She said she thought, even though, she's obviously white and she's on the team, she felt like it was a shot at her black teammates. What is her name, Ryan? What I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Van Lith. What's her first name? Helen?
So she thought it was
Haley Van Lith. So she thought it was racist. Here's sound of her.
We do have a lot of black women on this team. We do have a lot of people that are from different areas. And unfortunately, that bias does exist still today. And a lot of the people that are making those comments are being racist towards my teammates. And, I'm in a unique situation where I see it with myself, I'll talk trash and I'll get a different reaction than if Angel talks trash. And so it's really up to me to, it's not up to me, but I have a duty to my teammates to have their back. And obviously, some of the words that were used in that article were very sad and upsetting. And, I actually didn't want us to read that article before the game, because hearing stuff like that, it's not right, and it's not that type of description of us isn't always motivating. I think calling us basically the dirty debutantes, like that has nothing to do with sports, and that's not motivating. And so I think I wish we hadn't have read that, because I think that can crush your soul a little bit, that someone would ever say that about us that doesn't know us. But again, obviously, in my opinion, I know for a fact that people see us differently, because we do have a lot of black women on our team who have an attitude and like to talk trash, and people feel a way about it. But at the end of the day, I'm rocking with them because they don't let that change who they are.
I thought that was well said by her, and
I don't know the dirty debutantes has anything to do with black women, though.
Well, right, I agree with that. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, she's obviously on the team. They included her. It could be Rob, but you can't say it for sure.
I just don't know.
UCLA has black play. I think they got about 5 or 6 black girls on their team. So, to say they have more white girls, but it's not totally, one is totally black,
right,
one is totally white. So I agree with that. I think the most powerful thing she said, Rob,
can I say the difference, Chris, real quick? And you'll remember this. When Imus wound up, his radio show got blown up with the Rutgers girls, remember? And I'm not going to repeat. Right. You remember that? That was different, don't you think? That had a racist
talking about black
women, right?
Yeah, and then he did call them. I mean, when we talking about his dirty debutantes, he straight out called them that.
Right. That's different.
And
to me.
Absolutely should have gotten chastised for that at the very least. But I think one of the most powerful things she said, Rob, was that there's a different response to when she talks trash as a white girl to her black teammates. When they talk trash, is viewed differently. And you remember a year ago, that was the big story. When Angel Reese looked at Caitlin Clark and was like pointing to her finger like ring,
right?
When we're going to beat y'all, everybody acted like she was like, it was the worst thing in the world. But when Caitlin Clark, who, if you watch Caitlin Clark, and obviously we're seeing more of her this year than last year, first of all, she was talking trash last year, but she has an attitude on the court that, quite honestly, a lot of people don't like.
And she's a baller. I don't, what?
Yeah,
like,
but it ain't even just a cocky, like, and I'm not critical because I actually like her as a player.
Right.
But I'm saying her attitude, it's not just a cocky, I'm all that, I'm the best player out here type thing. It's a bit of a entitlement. Like I should be getting all the calls.
All the fouls and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Like, so they are completely right to look at Angel Reese when she does something and criticize it, but say nothing or even praise Caitlin Clark or any other white players that do it. That obviously is racist and shouldn't be going on. So I thought that was well said. I agree with you. I don't know if it broke down the black and white as far as the dirty debutante. I don't think you can say that.
I don't.
We don't know.
Unless it was a Kentucky play. And what school was that in Texas, Chris? The first
Texas Western back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Pat Riley was on that Kentucky team.
Yeah.
Right? The first one where an all-white team played an all-black team.
Well, it wasn't all-black. It was the first all-black starting five.
I'm sorry. You're right.
To win the championship.
Yep. But yeah, it's that part is the only part I'm not sure of. And the writer apologized for using some of those terms, and that's fine. I mean,
like you said, we don't know. Obviously, he's probably going to say the right thing, but it's hard for me to believe he meant it that way.
Yeah.
Like dirty, like he meant it in a pornographic way. But